At long last, I have returned. How many moons has it been? How many months? But it's true. The rumors are true. Wind Waker Unflooded, a 3D modeling project where I am reimagining the Kingdom of Hyrule as it could have existed within the world of the Wind Waker. It is back, and for the first time in months, releasing new progress updates on this fan art project. I'm so excited. Got a lot of treats in store for you today. Of course, yeah, I mean, y'all know the drill. For those that don't know, in the Wind Waker, we have all of the islands of the Great Sea, and those islands are actually the mountaintops of Hyrule. So this project is all about extrapolating from those mountaintops what the rest of the world could look like. It's a huge creative endeavor, and the project's been on hiatus for a couple of months, and that break has been useful to me. But, like, I mean, the purpose of the break was for technical reasons, and I've gone over that in the project before about why we stopped progress so that textures could be sorted just for organizational purposes, so that the project could continue and new collaborators could be brought on board, and just all the files would just be a little bit more organized. And now we're moving forward again. There's modeling videos again, and I'm so excited to share my progress with y'all again and move forward on this project because I really care about this, and I really appreciate how many of y'all I know care about this project as well. Wind Waker Unflooded is something that so many of us that played the Wind Waker and are fans of Zelda have kind of like imagined for 20 years what this world would have looked like. And even though we've seen Hyrule since in games like Breath of the Wild and Twilight Princess, that to me, like, it seemed just so clear that like the Wind Waker specific art style was still something that I wanted to see fully realized with that world of Hyrule. So it's been a joy to work on this project and do the 3D modeling and welcome aboard collaborators. I've had a huge team, and it wouldn't be possible without them. This project today, or this video today, is thanks to the work done by DrH3mp, who has started work on Labrynna. Of course, that y'all know Labrynna from Oracle of Ages. And to me, I thought it would be really cool to maybe like interpret Labrynna as being a kind of a village on the outskirts of Hyrule. You know, it's kind of beyond the central borders of the land, but it is a part of the greater continent on the edge, on the bay overlooking the water. And so I just thought that that'd be a really cool way of connecting it to Hyrule, because I think those Oracle games are in an interesting position where it's like Link is teleported from Hyrule Castle, right? And it seems like he's sent to a faraway land that he's not very familiar with. But both in Oracle of Ages and Seasons, it's clear that like that they recognize Hyrule, even if some of these places have their own castles and rulers. Like there's Queen Ambi, for instance, right? And I think Oracle of Ages. So it's an interesting kind of middle ground where they have their own royalty. But I think that it seems implied to me that the Oracle games still kind of take place in a world that is adjacent to Hyrule, if not a part of the greater land of Hyrule, even if it's beyond Link's normal adventures. I don't know. I need to like double check the canon on that, but that's my interpretation. I think there's room for that in my research before. I feel pretty good about that creative decision. I guess that's the thing, is just this project is full of creative decisions and interpretations. And I think that like something I really enjoy about this is the freedom of that, you know, and like not everyone's going to agree. I've definitely gotten comments where I know that I'll make decisions that not everyone agrees with, and I continue to invite that. Do feel free to comment down below y'all's ideas, y'all's disagreements, if there's things that y'all feel like should be done differently within this world, because I want it to be something that we can all be generally happy with as a fan community, you know, as a fan project, that, you know, we can all feel like this is what Hyrule would look like in the world of the Wind Waker, borrowing details from other games, making our own creative decisions, and it's something that we can kind of be happy with as a community. But I know I'm not going to please everyone, and I feel aware of that just like everyone has their own take, and just at a certain point I just have to trust my own interpretation of what's possible within the world. And that's how these creative projects go. But I really enjoy that. I love that balance of like I'm trying to respect the lore and trying to make things possible there, and respect, you know, like the creative decisions that Nintendo makes. But there's only so much that I can draw from, right? And Wind Waker only shows us like the islands, and I'm trying to figure out the world below. You know, it's those entire mountaintops. There's no basis really for what lies below the islands, even though there's things that are implied. We know that the Forest Haven in Wind Waker is meant to be like part of Kikiri Forest. So like, you know, we can draw those parallels. We can draw parallels between Dragon Roost Island and Death Mountain, right? There's definitely parallels that are meant to be drawn, but there's also a lot in this world that we just don't know, that we just have to guess. And I enjoy that process. I enjoy how much creativity is involved there. And I have my own takes. And just like as an artist, as a storyteller, as a filmmaker, as a writer, like I really enjoy being able to be artistic with this process. And I guess I'll go ahead and plug that. I am a filmmaker, and if you want to check out some of my other projects, check out my main channel, Joe Kendrick. Look up some of the different films that I've created. I really enjoy storytelling through the filmmaking medium, and making short films and indie short films, and I really enjoy that process of storytelling and artistic storytelling, which I think is something that I really enjoy, bringing that perspective artistically to Wind Waker Unflooded, right? Making sure that, like, because I see this as a storytelling project. I see it as, like, it's a map, but it's, like, through the environmental storytelling of the map, I get to show you my take on different details within the world, just, like, inherent through the way that the map is made. I really enjoy that, how many creative decisions are visible through the geography. And the geography of Zelda is hard to grapple with. There's so many, like, just disparities and inconsistencies between the games geographically. So it takes a lot of leaps. It's something that I feel very aware of, that like I just have to kind of make decisions and say, hey, this isn't going to completely line up for every game. It may be closer to one game or another, but it's not going to line up for every game. But I'll try. And I'm trying to make this, like, Hyrule is a world that exists throughout the Zelda series. And I want this to line up with the way that we see Hyrule and its landmarks through different games. So I feel comfortable pulling from the Oracle games and Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild, because it's all one world. We just see different slices of it in different games. So I feel very comfortable with that. So figuring out what this version would look like, I can pull from all of the different games and then also create my own takes and create my own locations as well. And that's just, those are all things I enjoy. But just once again, just like I want to shout out all of my collaborators, and thank you once again to DrH3mp for their work on Labrynna. And I think it's a great start. Obviously, it's not done, and there's a lot left to figure out for the different details of the map. And I'm excited to see what they come up with throughout their time working on it. So, but I'm so excited just to be back and modeling again, because this is something that, like, it's a passion project, and I care about this project and whittling away at it, and I don't want it to take forever. So to spend like 4 months not working on the project, it was tough, and I had to be patient. But it also allowed me to work on other projects and work on other short films that I've had in my back pocket. I just finished shooting a short film. I just finished editing like a short film before that. So it's like I was really able to use that downtime to be productive in my leisure time, to work on other artistic projects that I care about. So I did appreciate the downtime, and I was able to use it. But it is something where, you know, I care about this project, and it's like I don't want to just let it sit forever. It's something that I do want to finish eventually. You know, hopefully years don't go by where it's undone. Hopefully I'm able to finish it. And I feel really optimistic that, like, now that we're moving again, you know, like that day may not come soon. It may take months and months and months and months and months left, but it's something that, like, there will be a day when this project is done. And I guess I want to talk about that, because I know a lot of people ask, well, what is the end game for my work once the map is done? Like, am I always going to be tweaking the map? Like, no, there will be a point when I walk away from the map. But I will say, like, y'all know, I'm a storyteller, I'm a filmmaker. I do want to make cutscene style short films taking place in the finished map. That's something I've been thinking about a lot recently, and the stories that I want to tell in this world. I mean, my philosophy, right, is that this is Hyrule right before the Great Flood. So I would love to tell that story cinematically, you know, and, like, simplistically, right, through, like, you know, the cutscene style, like, simple animation, but be able to show what is my take of, like, that world, that time period in Hyrule's history. What, you know, Ganondorf's return up to the Great Flood. How did things get so bad that a flood seemed like the only option? I think getting into that cinematically is a really interesting idea. And I have a lot of ideas, and I've talked about a couple on the channel already. I think I have a video dedicated to, like, the story of Wind Waker Unflooded, so you can scroll through my videos and check that out, where I talk about some of my story outlines. and some of the ideas that I have in mind. And there's a lot that I'm really excited to continue fleshing out and writing, and just kind of showing like what is my take on that, right? And there's a lot of like Zelda archetypes that I'm pulling into that, and I think in a lot of ways it's like the what do I call it? Like the fundamental Zelda story, right? The quintessential Zelda story. You know, Ganon's back and he's threatening Hyrule, but it's a unique time period, right? Because this is a world without a Link. We know from the prologue of Wind Waker that no hero appeared during that time, and so the world was flooded. But I think it's still a world where we can see Princess Zelda and the sages of the time, and her relationship with her father, the king, and all these different looks at the different tribes of the time, the conflict between Hyrule and the Gerudo. And I'm really interested in just showing how that conflict can escalate. And this is Hyrule during war, but it's also like Hyrule during its peak, and it's showing how a society that seems on the surface to be at its peak, how it can actually be corrupt from the inside and be about to fall, right? And I'm really interested in exploring those ideas. Those are ideas that the games explore, and I'm interested in showing that explicitly, the downfall of Hyrule. Right, and it's also one that like I really want it to feel like the perspective that the games have. You know, Zelda is, you know, very serious and can be like, you know, about war and great battles, but it's also, it can be funny, and they can be like fables. There can be comedy, and it can be very personal, and that's something that's very important to me as well. Is making sure that there's really a personal edge to these stories. But anyway, I'm just rambling. But I want to say, just like I've been so thankful to I feel like I've said this all before, but it's been a while since I've done a modeling video, and it's all worth reiterating that I'm so thankful to know how many of y'all care about the project. There's thousands of subscribers on this channel, and I love that y'all are here for this project, for my creativity. So just thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, DrH3mp, for working on Labrynna. I'm really excited to see your progress on this part of the world, and I'm really excited to get back into modeling myself. During this video, you can see that I've done a little bit of work just modeling some of the coastline around Labrynna, where I think it would be. So just getting ready to kind of merge the locations and kind of show the coast around this bay. But anyway, without further ado, thank you all so much for watching. And without further ado, I'll let you go. Now, if you're looking for other ways to support me, as always, you can support me as a creator by becoming a member on Patreon. There you'll get access to all kinds of exclusive behind-the-scenes content like in-progress outlines, scripts, storyboards, rough cuts, and even soundtracks for my newest films. By becoming a member, you'll also be thanked in the credits for any film I finish during your membership. You can also support me by streaming my music. I compose all of the scores for my own short films, and you can listen to those soundtracks on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to music. Just look up Joe Kendrick. That's JoeKendrick. Y'all have a wonderful day, and without further ado, I'll let you go.